going to Skeet seemed to me at the time like I was going almost the other side of the world. It felt like, and now I can't believe how far away when I was youngster I thought Skeet was, when it's only near Orpington. But at the time, going down to somewhere like Skeet was just an amazing sort of trip away.
In terms of Skeet, there was a period of time when you were in the minors, and I think it was when you went into juniors, it changed from they took you down and coach, you got a train to Knockholt, and you made your way to Knockholt in the middle of the countryside for East End boys who had basically just been on streets. And these big hedges coming over, and it's dark, and kind of, oh my gosh, is somebody going to jump out? They're going to kill us. And then being freezing cold, and one or two naughty boys used to kind of have the odd cigarettes and stuff. And I remember borrowing a cigarette from someone to try and keep my hands warm, just to have that little bit of heat from somewhere. So they're memorable in a very different sort of way. You know, it was, you actually can't believe it. So, as like Melvin was saying, it was like, it really was going to the other side of the world. It was a whole different world.
I think what's so memorable as well, in a funny way, is compared to now. I mean, they would never just allow it now. I mean, we were relatively young kids, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and these were 16-year-olds taking us on a train. Just 16-year-olds from other clubs. We'd go on a train, they'd drag us across fields, we'd do all things. Yeah. I mean, nowadays, I don't think anyone would risk anything like that. It was just, but I think in many ways it was a fantastic experience and probably did help us all grow up quite a lot.
Yeah, the whole thing was like that. It was a kind of a controlled fear over people, you know. So going to Skeet, you would have ghost stories in there, you know, to actually try and scare everybody in this very old house, and people did get scared. And some of the beds had been slightly kind of lashed together where they're broken, and so there was a story about how that bed got broken, etc., etc. And it's the kind of thing that I imagine, and I don't know because I didn't go to public school, it's just the kind of thing that if you went to public school, they would throw upon you. But of course, you know, we were in the East End, we didn't go to public school, only went to state schools, and hadn't experienced this stuff at all.
I think that's right, because one of the sort of, if you like, public school equivalents I suspect that we had at the time was when you ever first went to Skeet for the first time, it was initiation ceremonies, which I think was probably a similar thing that happened there. And at Skeet there was very much a story about, I think it was Lady Cynthia, who was supposed to be buried in the cellar. Yep. And the cellar was always regarded as somewhere you didn't go. But there was a whole story about, you know, her ghost and other ghosts being around the house. And then, you know, we just used to, you know, go for walks in the countryside, which was quite an experience for, I think, most of us on a Saturday afternoon. Interestingly, I think Skeet was one of the things that really helped in many ways ingrain the Jewish culture. Because down there, besides the kosher food, they did do services, they did do grace after meals. So there was a very... although again most people weren't that religious, it was very much it was run on a very, very strictly orthodox lines. So you
did have chores to do. Everybody was assigned chores and tasks, you know, and you had to try. And when you left the place had to be immaculate again, type of thing.
They actually used to come around and do inspections, didn't they? They used to. So that was, again, it was, if you like, quasi-military. They used to make your beds. They used to inspect the rooms and you know how clean they were and whether the beds were made properly and all that sort of thing. So it was, I think, an amazing combination of sort of things that perhaps were being done elsewhere that they were bringing, if you like, to kids from the East End.